Mental health is a really important topic of discussion happening not only here in the United States, but globally. Societally, the topic of mental health is becoming more accepted to talk about, and people are starting to understand different aspects of it more. One facet of this important discussion is that of postpartum depression. The amount of chemical and hormonal changes that happen during pregnancy are vast and significant. And after a baby is born, it doesn't just magically get better the way that it might in a movie. Many hormonal changes are still happening in the mother as their body acclimates to breastfeeding or recovering from the pregnancy, many things. A lot of people think that when you have a child, you will immediately be bonded to this child. It's going to be the most special moment of your entire life. You're going to immediately love this child the way that you think of a parent loving a child if they're a good parent. But realistically, that's not always the case. Sometimes bonding takes time. Sometimes because of all the changes, there is a lot of emotional struggling and confusion that happens. Postpartum depression can happen immediately. It could take some time to kick in, but it's serious. For that reason alone, it's important to have a support group as a new mother, even if you've had children before. Not every pregnancy or pregnancy recovery is the same. And if you are in the life of someone who's just had a baby, it's important for you to find what you can do to help support that person and strengthen them in the new situation that they found themselves in. The 2019 book, Little Darlings by Melanie Golding, addresses all of these issues. The story begins as a mother gives birth to her first children, a set of twin boys. And Golding painstakingly goes through a lot of the struggles that many mothers will have. And even in the context of this mystery, thriller, fairy tale story, we get to see a really realistic glimpse at what can happen after childbirth. Delving even deeper than postpartum depression, the story actually touches on the subject of postpartum psychosis. Even more complicated, this is what happens after birth if the person begins showing signs of psychosis, such as hearing voices, seeing things that aren't there, etc. The main character's in a context where they don't have a good support group, and they are very honestly and realistically struggling with the burden that they've been put under with these two new twins. It is within the confines of these trappings that the story begins to unfold. During recovery in the hospital, the new mother is greeted by a sort of witch, evil lady creature. This lady threatens to take the new babies away and replace them with monsters of her own, and thus we get exposed to the changeling myth, which is the story of people that can change themselves to look like other people. The struggle for the readers and the characters in the story is whether to believe this mom, who is clearly suffering from some postpartum mental illness, or to try to help her see through this psychosis of something that is seemingly impossible. The fantastical elements of the witch and the changeling are in juxtaposition to the fact that this person is really dealing with a known real-life problem. And when this new mom freaks out and claims that her babies have been replaced with these changelings at some point, you really feel for her, regardless of whether you think the fairy tale aspects of the story are just a myth or if they're really happening. The brilliance in the story is the way that it handles these things simultaneously as a healthy public service announcement for supporting new mothers, and a fascinating mystery fairy tale about a mythological being. I really enjoyed this book all the way through. It kept me hooked the entire time, and the back and forth between what I thought was really happening was engaging from start to finish. Ultimately, I think this tale succeeds as a fictional modern fairy tale. But even more importantly, I think it gives us a beneficial glance at the truths of maternal bonding and the importance of having a really good support system as a new mother. And if any of that sounds interesting, I highly recommend this book to you. This was easily one of my favorite books in 2019. Please remember, if you like this style of video, to hit that subscribe button and give it a like. Does this book sound interesting to you? Does it sound like something you would normally read? I normally don't think I would read something like this, but I'm really glad that I did. Real quick, thank you so much to the community here on BookTube. You guys have been awesome and really fun so far. I hope to continue, providing a service to this group of people that's enjoyable for you guys to watch. But until next time, thank you for watching. See ya.